Hey Giorgio, how's it going? I'm leaving video feedback for people this week because I'm really behind in making comments and I'm trying to be a good boy this week. And also because I'm terribly slow at typing. Told this already to a few people already, but it's just I kind of like it takes me well over about like 45 minutes just to leave comments for people and I'm like really, really, really slow. So I'm trying to record videos, see if that speeds things up, and if people like it, well, I'll keep doing it, and if not, I'll just go back to typing again and bite the bullet one way or another. So, I had a look at your assignment from last week. It's awesome. I really, really, really like just the amount of playfulness that you've put into, the bowling thing. It just works great, looking through it and having all of those Michael Jackson moves inside it, it just adds so much variety to it. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. The smoothness of it is really nice as well. You can really read all of the actions. Everything kind of like just plays one into another. You don't really have any problems. Just gonna have a quick look through it frame by frame, see if I see anything that's weird or that could be improved somehow. Boom, 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 boom. No, nice anticipation. Your steps are okay. I just see if I'm actually seeing this properly. One, two. No, no, fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah, don't notice anything strange in the feet. I think it might be just the sense that the hips are very level as they go across the actual screen, but that's more about the action than actually because it's like I don't think it would actually work that much if it kind of like if the hips kind of like bounced along too much. But you might want to try and go down into kind of like the roll a bit more at the end. I mean, it does it, but it just looks it's a little bit straight between frames 26 and 29. Just those frames there. It's roughly right, but I think you could just drop the hips just a little bit more towards 29 just to cushion it in. I mean, when it goes up at 36, that's beautiful. It just flows beautifully in and in and in. Yeah, you almost want to, keep pushing that pose. And as it goes up, spins around beautifully. Really nice. I think that one of the things you might want to do just from a body mechanics thing might be in a frame. Yeah, kind of like you put the weight down on frame 61 and you go straight into, the moonwalk there. And the thing is that in the moonwalk the foot actually rises up at the same time. So in frame 61 you could lock that toe down. So basically put it into frame 61, the pose that you've got there. Lift the heel up just a little bit, but you're also lifting the toes in frame 63. And although that's what you do when you moonwalk, it's almost like it's better, I think, that when he comes down, he at least rests his weight on his toes, and that way, it just when it looks like that he's pushing back on the moonwalk, it just looks like he's a bit more stable and that he can actually pull that move off just a little bit better. Nice little counter animation there on the upper body. He's bobbing a little bit, which is great. And yeah, just think that you need to put a bit more of weight into the moonwalk itself. It's good, it slides on very well, but it feels just a bit like he's sliding just a bit too easily. You want to put a little bit of physicality in there, I think, just because it makes it feel more real to an extent, rather than seeing it slide across the screen too easily, that you can tell that there's a bit more force in there to an extent. And then pushes off to the spin. The spin is very nice as well. It's almost that I think that in frame 100 round to 105, I think you want to try and keep maybe the elbows a little bit higher to an extent, so that you get that idea that he's spinning round and he's actually using part of the movement of the ball to actually propel himself a little bit. So just lifting the elbow up just a fraction like that up in around frame 100 might just be able to give you a bit more of a line of action, I think, because his back is pretty straight as well. You might want to try and curve that into like a C shape on frame 100 a little bit as well, just to basically anticipate that spin a little bit better, and maybe that would basically make it just a bit more clearer. It's all kind of like very nitpicky stuff. Everything that I'm saying is just like really minor changes, because it's very solid. It's well thought out. And also the thing that does jump out to me again is frame 133, that pose where the feet are completely and utterly straight like that. You'd really want, just switch hands there, see if I can actually get, no, I'm doing it the wrong way around. There we go. You'd want like the toes just to be a fraction bent like that. Very, very, very tiny amount. But it does look like he's weightless because he's perfectly on his toes. You might just want to add a little bit of a bend there, just a tiny, tiny, tiny thing on frame 133. And that basically, it's a little bit there, but I think you can exaggerate it just a fraction more. And that basically, the hips going down is good. Give him a bit of roll on the ankles as well. So hips go down and the ankles just twist a little bit like that. Keep them basically everything moving together. And then when he goes down over just about 2 frames there. Yeah, that's fine. But when he pushes, he goes down on one foot. You might want him to, instead of basically rolling forward with the red foot like that, you might want him to actually just push off a little bit as well. So his balance currently is perfectly on top of his back foot, the blue one, on frame 158. You might want to start moving the hips forward, so basically as he drops, he's leaning forward, so that he basically goes into the walk easier, and I think that that might be more accurate, maybe. It just looks like the way that he stands up is basically almost floating up. He's going like that. You might want to lean him forward and make him go that way, and that's completely inversed because my camera on my Mac basically does everything in mirror mode. So I'm doing it one way and it's going completely in the other. So basically it would be like that. Instead of him coming down, he'd lean forward, and it's going the wrong way again. So that way, we'd lean that way, and that like that. That's what I meant. Okay? Yeah, the build up there is great. I love the way that he kind of like propels himself forward. The only thing is that on frame, let's have a look, frame 180, his foot, the red foot kind of like is slanted to one side, and that kind of looks a bit weird because it just looks like his foot is shrinking a little bit. I think it might be better if instead of basically it folding inwards like that, it actually flaps backwards. So basically what you've got now is that the foot's kind of like turning that way and spinning through. Let it flip back, so basically the foot comes in and punk, it just continues outwards like that, and you follow the line of action with the toes basically pointing away from the body. So basically instead of having the toes basically inwards, have them point to the left of screen towards the back of him and let it just flow out. Give it a bit of, some flowing motion like that, and that way when it goes up and then down again, you can apply the wave principle and basically get some overlap in the body as well. He's a little bit stiff at the end, not completely, but it's basically, I think, around frame 187 you can already start putting some of the wave motion in there. So basically have the feet still coming up, but the body's already starting to come down, and you add a bit more of the breakdown there, and keep essentially everything flowing. It's got to be like Taylor's tail, essentially, where he basically goes whoop, bump, and he basically falls down like that. So I think that would probably push things. I had a look at your reference, as well. It's really cool. Pitching, fantastic exercise. Sketching wise, there's loads of details in this, that you should kind of do. I love the little nuance that he basically flips his foot up so far that it's almost vertical, and then he kind of like adjusts his balance. That's a really nice little touch. A bit unexpected as well, and makes it a bit more unique. There's loads of things that you can do with this, very much, and yeah, it's a great little exercise. I even like the little thing again where, bonk, he catches it at the end as he takes a few steps back. Those little things, just gonna, make it just that bit more personal, I think, to an extent. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what your blocking looks like this week. If you drop a public review or something like that, I'll have a look at it and also, just check it out. So yeah, thanks, man. It was great work. Take care. See you around.